Does perfectionism lead to self-condemnation or self-elevation? Yes, it does. I always rejected the label that I was a perfectionist because that would mean I wasn't perfect. I want to invite you to picture a road between two ditches. The ditch on the left is self-condemnation. That's where shame grows, and nothing good comes out of shame. Shame is different than guilt. Guilt is when we do something wrong, and we should feel guilty. But shame is when we are something wrong, when we're just stuck there. It'll never change. We just believe that we're a failure. The ditch on the right is self-elevation. And if you're anything like me, self-reliance probably will hit closer to home. It's been well documented, I've shared it many times, that my approach to life for most of my life has been, God, point me in the right direction. I'll take it from here. If I need anything, I'll check back in. Growing up, there was a lot of fighting in my home, and I didn't like what happened when somebody made a mistake. So at some point along the way, I decided, can't make mistakes, got to be perfect. Of course, that's not going to work out very well because we all make mistakes. So then we have to either hide it or you just jump straight over the road from the ditch of self-reliance right into the ditch of self-condemnation. The road is the life in grace, and that's where we want to live. This goes all the way back to the first chapter of the Bible. In Genesis 1, it says that we humans were made in the image of God. That's a life in grace. We're made to relate to God. When we live above the image, like an African-American pastor said in a sermon I still remember from 40 years ago, when we live above the image, that's self-elevation. But when we live below the image, that's self-condemnation. Neither are where we want to live. We're made in the image of God. Let's live a life of grace. Jesus described it as like a child. He called us to be childlike, not childish. A child with a loving parent just trusts. They don't worry about making mistakes. They assume they're going to make mistakes, but they have a loving relationship, a trusting relationship. That's the kind of relationship we're invited to have with our Heavenly Father. It's not based on what we've done. It's based on what Jesus did. That's the life in grace. The other two ditches are all about self and how's that working out. But the life in grace is so solid. That's where we want to drive. Thanks for watching.